This, for me, this event was going terrifically until first these three showed up. And this whole group showed up. Because, of course, I had the event in my head, and I can't go forward the way I had it in my head because everybody else insists on being a part of it. I just want to, but life is lived always now. Now.
You have to tell me what now is, because by the time you even said the word, it's the next
Right.
now. So, you know, let's not go too much into core assumption that we agree. I don't agree with that.
Okay.
Then we can have a conversation.
But the anticipation and the prediction is from the position of an observer in language. And we do that all the time, but we do that now. Yes?
We got caught.
I'm still hung up on the fact that Sheila says we're all seasoned.
We're all what?
Seasoned.
Oh, professors?
Yes, we were seasoned.
That means old.
Right. I'm taking steps this way.
Could I just add, my anticipation was for a debate. I say, she says, he says, then we respond like in a court, with cross-examination from you and recross and so forth. For that reason, I did a debate format handout, which I'm going to give you if you want to take it away. And what I would have said had it been a debate. So I'll pass those around in a minute, just a two-page thing, but a lot of it we didn't get to it. So that's to answer your question.
I know least about the radical constructivism, so we've been talking around this a bit, but I'm interested in if life is a natural drift, is it value-free?
Yes. It's purposeless and value-free.
Capital L love.
You understand, of course, you and I add value, I mean, we add values to it, but
Yes.
but it's
Yes. But in terms of
yeah,
the
purposeless.
theory,
Yes.
what would it be harmful then? Is it preferable or not preferable to do a violent act to in a life? In terms of the theory?
Only according to you.
I would disagree.
You would disagree?
I would disagree. We'll leave it.
Violently?
I would-
Was I violent? Did I illegitimize anybody? Then no, I wasn't.
In the interest of trying to understand the distinctions between the different positions, Sheila had mentioned that when she comes into a class, how she looks at it as the coordination and where people sit and all of those kind of things. I'm wondering how the other two people on the panel think of that same situation of coming into a first class and what it's all about and what you're going to do and so on. That would be helpful to me understanding the difference in your perspective.
I do remind myself that there are as many classes as there are students, plus one for me. And that nobody's in the same, we're all sitting in the same room and we're all using each other as characters in our playlists. And what people will take away from it, just as what people will take away from this meeting, will be all quite different. And that's not a flaw, it's simply, that's how it is.
Is that informed by your idea that the structure of the person enables them to only learn certain kinds of things? It seems
Yeah,
to me
I
very
saw a couple many years ago, and I thought, after meeting with them a bit, that separation and divorce should be seriously considered. And I said this to them, to the couple. And this next session, I said it to them again. And the session after that, I said it again. In the fourth session, they came in, they said, we're going to separate. I said, okay, that's good. And they said, why didn't you suggest that? And I said, what do you think I've been saying? So until they are ready to process that in that particular way, they don't process it that particular way.
I'd have to think back to classes, because I don't teach for the last 5 years, but clients, I suppose I'd pitch a word off Jay, I'd perturbate their construct systems. And that is done in a respectful way, and my journey into their interiority is done with the same sort of respect. As far as classes are concerned, depends on the class, I think. If they just don't know stuff, I've got to tell them. When they know that stuff, we can walk a bit faster, hand in hand, and then eventually they're in front. So I guess it depends on the class. The first year class just needs to know what epistemology means, just needs to know what metaphysics covers, just needs to know what analytic, as opposed to synthetic philosophy is. When they've got all that jargon, they can walk with me, and they walk ahead of me.
So I know Bill wanted to have a few final comments, and then Jay and Sheila have some additional final comments.
That was a question to you whether it would be useful for each of us to make a final comment.
Yeah, I think we could. I mean, if the others want to do that, it's fine with me. Why don't you start then?
Yeah, I just wanted to tell you about that handout. Take it because I don't want to take it home. But one of the things that in a debate mode is, oh, that'd be good, yeah. If there's not enough there, too bad. Sorry, I'll make this some more.
I'll only give them to the special.
Give it to the special people. Now I've lost what I was going to say, except I must I hate tables. What I wanted to start with was, if we're going to evaluate one of each of these perspectives against the other, and I was here to be defending personal construct psychology, I just wanted to draw attention to its range and its focus. But despite coming to it as a philosopher, it is not a philosophy. It's a relatively narrow theory of personality. Even within psychology, it's narrow. It doesn't tell me anything about neuropsychology. It doesn't tell me how to test for brain function. It doesn't tell me anything about politics, directly, music or poetry and so forth. So we've got to remember what it is. And equally, within psychology, it's about client content. So if we're going to critique personal construct psychology from either of our perspectives, they've got to indicate to us how they would treat clients. Personal construct psychologists know how to treat from this theory of personal construct. So that was the first thing. The second thing is the value of these sorts of discussions. Although it's not my style, it's not a style I feel comfortable with, but I like talking. Is that we enrich a dialogue between these perspectives. I think the best way to look at radical constructivism, social constructivism, and personal construct psychology is Richlak's analogy of the searchlights. It's one perspective, and not only social constructivism he was talking about, it's one with personal construct psychology. There's two searchlights illuminating the playing field where your famous football team is playing. Your searchlight is watching your team, his searchlight is watching his team. So that we look at things differently depending on our purpose. And the last point I already made about the handout. Thank you.
I guess I would simply say that I think I like that metaphor of the searchlight. I don't think that there's one of these ways of talking is more superior than another. I would like to emphasize, I think that there's a misunderstanding that there is no person, there's no self in social construction, and for me that's not at all the case. That the self is a relational self, a relational being, and I hear the relational aspect in both of these perspectives equally. So I think we're in a different place, and I think that place is one where it's not a battle over or debate over which theory is correct, but it's actually, these are rich resources that we can use in our work, and most importantly to me, they inform who we are as professionals. That we can no longer stand in that professional space saying, I've got the truth. We say, this is a way that, what if we try being in relation this way? What if I use this, think about it in terms of discourses? What if I think in terms of personal constructs? What if I think in terms of my structure determining me? Will that help me be responsive to the person I'm dealing with?
And thinking about today, I reread an article that I wrote with Mike Lukens in 1985. When we wrote it, it had a very humble title, something like A Few Thoughts About structured determinism. And the editor changed that. It's now called The World According to Umberto Maturana. I did not bring copies of this. However, anybody who sends, so what this tries to do is explain in sort of English some of what Maturana stands for. And I think it still stands up even though it was written in 85. If anybody who sends me an email, I'd be happy to send you an electronic version of it. I think that's all I'm going to say.
Sheila, do you have a paper or something to recommend?
You can download papers at my website. If you just Google my name, my website.
What is your name?
Sheila McNamee, MC, not MAC. 2 E's at the end.
And your,
Jay Efran.
She didn't ask Jay.
in my language,
Yeah. You know, my last thought is, you know, Sheila, what you're saying reminds me so much of when Kelly talks about theories as useful tools, and makes me feel like, in a lot of ways, you know, there is a good deal of agreement here. I'm sure there are other folks who could have brought in here and we would have had much more disagreement with it. Unless there are other questions, we can end a couple minutes early, give people a little more time to get some drinks and bagels and all that good stuff. Thanks for coming this morning, and we'll get on with it.